Good morning, class. I want to welcome you back to Wednesday of week 8. And today we're going to check our homework, review superlative and comparatives, and talk about what's happening next week when you're going to give your problem solution speech. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the warm-up. What's the difference between comparative and superlative? Well, comparatives have the word more with the adjective, or they have ER on the short adjective, okay? Like, my house is smaller than my neighbor's house, or my house is more beautiful than my neighbor's house. So we've got more, or we have the ER adjective, and we have the word than. That's with comparatives, okay? With superlatives, we're going to have the before the superlative adjective. So we might have the most beautiful or the smallest, okay? And we do not use than. So my house is the smallest house on my street. And superlatives are for the extreme of a whole group. So that's the difference with those. Okay, so the discussion question, I wanted to check in to see if anybody has been able to check out the Go React or Collaborate here to see how you're going to upload your visual aids. I'm going to keep this Collaborate session available for you through the end of the day Friday. So if you want to come in here on your own and just click on the share now button at the bottom. If you remember, there's a little shape at the bottom right of your screen. It's like a little X, or sorry, it's a little square, and it has a little arrow inside, okay? And that's down there on the right, bottom right of your screen. That is the share button. So if you click on that and then you click on add files or share files and add files, then you can upload your PowerPoint. And so I encourage you to check that out before next Monday. And that way you'll know how to use this feature. If you are watching this video and you are not going to be in the video lesson next week, then you will need to go to the Go React Explore session in the lesson folder and kind of play around with how to upload a PowerPoint in that with that software. So email me today, tomorrow, Friday, if you have questions about that. Okay, so let's go to my third point here on the screen. For your visuals, I have a few pointers that might help you. I suggest pictures from the clip art or Microsoft Office gallery. If you look on PowerPoint or in Word and you go to the top and you look at insert, and there's a tab you can click on that says picture or clip art or something like that. Explore that area and see if you would like to put some pictures in your document. I recommend that. You can go to the internet, like Google, and find pictures to put in your PowerPoint, copying them and pasting them in your PowerPoint. But it's very important that you also copy the URL website address at the top of the Google screen, because that needs to be included on the bottom of each picture that you get from Google. The reason is because it's illegal to take someone's picture and use it on your work or your document without giving the reference to the source, like who actually originally posted that picture. So if you take a picture or video from the internet, you need to have the URL website also listed with the picture. And number 3, my suggestion is try to keep the number of words on each slide from 5 to 25 words. Don't write a whole paragraph or 10 sentences on PowerPoint slides. It's too much for people to read. So take my PowerPoint as an example on how many words I put on each slide. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions about that. We are going to check our homework next. So let's look in your book. Let me go to this. Let's look in your book on page 68. We talked about superlatives, comparatives and superlatives. So page 68, and this is section 3. So let me pull. Okay, it took me a moment to find it. I finally found it. Okay, it is right here on this page. So we're looking at the bottom of page 68. And I have the file pulled up here. I'm going to zoom in to see it better. And let me show you where we are right here. Exercise 3, page 68. So number 2 is far. So it says we can see that by far the most affordable form of transportation is walking. Okay, that one from the listening practice, that is the word that is stressed, far. Okay, number 3, exercise 3, number 3 is considerably. Considerably. Okay, so we want to circle the SID in considerably. Okay, number 4, we circle much, much. Flying is much more comfortable than traveling by train. Number 5, I want you to circle the DEF, definitely, definitely. The DEF, indefinitely, is stressed. Okay, exercise 4, page 69. Number 1 is 1. And then 3. Wait, let me make sure. Oh, yeah, it says 1, 3, 4, and 5. So number 1 has 1, 3, 4, and 5. Number 2 is 2. Number 3 is a lot. And then by far. And then considerably. And then much. And number 4, very much or a lot. Either one is okay. Okay, exercise 5 on page 69. Number 1, the most direct. Number 2, calmer. Number 3, most serious. Number 4, the most comfortable. Comfortable, that's how we pronounce it. Number 5, faster. Number 6, more affordable. And number 7, most appropriate. Most appropriate. Okay, good job on those. Let's go to listening to page 70. We started this on Monday and I asked you to finish this before you did the listening practice. So let's look at exercise 1, page 70. And letter A is convenient. Letter B, pass. Letter C, injure. Letter D, respect. Letter E, solve. F, fine. G, prevent. H, break the law. Break the law is H. Okay, exercise 2 on page 70, possible answers, okay? So we talked a little bit about this in class, but I want to highlight right here for you, exercise 2. These are possible answers in case you wanted to answer those. Okay, let's go to page 71, the listening. Exercise 3, page 71. Number 1, to make the city more bike friendly. To make the city more bike friendly. Or you can say to make it easier to ride bikes in the city. Okay, and number 2, we have letter A, safety, letter B, storage, and letter C, convenience. Okay, so these are what we would call the 3 problems. So in this speech, the speaker talked about 3 different problems related to biking to work. Okay, so the main problem is that it's difficult or it's not easy to bike to work, and there's barriers or obstacles to biking to work. So they broke it down into 3 specific problems. So safety, storage of the bikes, and convenience. That's for number 2. Okay, let's go skip down to exercise 4, page 71. And we're at the bottom of my answer screen here. The ones you should have checked. Yes, you need to check number 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Okay, so those are the answers there. Now, exercise 5 at the bottom, this is where you're supposed to take notes about what you hear. So take a look at the top left part of your screen, zoom in if you need to, and you can see the recommendations are on the left side, the possible results are on the right side. Okay, so take a look at those. Pause the video if you need to look closer and have more time for that. Let's go to exercise 6 on page 72. Exercise 6. Number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. So again, exercise 6, number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. For exercise 7, it's your own ideas. So we're going to skip that one. And the discussion question, you have that at kind of the middle left side of your screen here, if you want to take a look at those. Okay, students, so that was our homework. And the next thing we're going to do is talk about the language we use for problem solution speeches. So for this, I want you to look at page 73, and you can see a chart there that says problems, proposed solutions, and predicted results. So what I want you to do is think about the notes you took on page 71 at the bottom, and the information that you have from listening, and I want you to fill in the chart on page 73. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and I want you to fill in the chart on page 73. I want you to have at least 2 problems, at least 2 proposed solutions, and at least 2 predicted results. So go ahead and work on that, and then we'll talk about it and talk about the language we use. We're going to look at what strategies, what kinds of words the speaker can use to share problems, solutions, and results. I'll give you a couple minutes. Okay, students, that was a couple of minutes, and let's see what you got. I want you to refer to the bottom left of your screen, right here where it talks about, where it has this box, exercise 1, page 73. Check and see if you have some of these same answers, like the problems, biking is dangerous, people don't have anywhere to store their bikes, and riding a bike to work is inconvenient. If you have any of those, that's great. Proposed solutions would be something like this: give fines to drivers who drive a bike or drive in a bike lane. Or you could say wider bike lanes, or add more bike lanes. Or another solution could be parking garages should have sections for bikers. Put bike racks on buses. And in predicted results, prevents cars from hitting bikes, keeps bikes safe and dry, and then people wouldn't have to ride bikes at night or in bad weather. Okay, so here we've got lots of information. So what I want to teach you today is how to present the information in a speech in a clear way. So how can we use different words or strategies for creating clear sentences? So for that, we're going to go to my PowerPoint, talking about problems and solutions. Let me move this up. Okay. Okay, talking about problems and solutions. So let's start with the language for the problems and then for the solutions. So let's look at page 73 again. Oh, I'm sorry, we already did that. Let me skip that one. Okay, let's think about what they said in the speech. Okay, and by the way, the speech script is in the back of your book. If you go back to page 200, let me see, 202 and 203, that give you the whole speech. So in the speech, they had a sentence. They said there's very little space for bikers. When you use something like very little, that is showing something negative. It's showing something that's not good. I could say I have very little money in my bank account. That means I don't have a lot. Okay, so that's one way to share a problem, is to use very little and a non-count noun like space, money, and things like that. Okay, another example, the bike lanes are too narrow. That was another sentence from the speech. Okay, when we have too plus an adjective, that is always going to mean there's a problem. Okay, TOO, too plus adjective. So if I say I'm too hot, that means I'm very hot and I'm uncomfortable. If I say my car is too big, that means I don't like it. It's using a lot of gas and it's difficult to get around on the street. It is too big. Okay, so anytime you use TOO, too, plus an adjective, that's going to signal a problem as well. So these are a few of the words you can use in your speeches to show your problem. Okay, the next point, if we said the biggest issue is safety, okay, that's one of the sentences from the speech as well. Okay, that is a superlative adjective, the biggest. Okay, you can use this to present a problem in your speech. Okay, I have another example from my own. The worst problem is that bikers aren't safe. Okay, so again, I have a superlative, the worst, and then I have a noun there, problem. And I'm showing you this is one of the problems. Okay, so that's two ways to share a problem with a superlative. Okay, now how do we give solutions? We can start with there are. there are two possible solutions, or there are a few solutions that will work in this situation. We can also use I think and should. So I think the city should create more bike lanes. Or if you look at your chart on page 73 and look at your solutions, you can use I think and should. I think what do they call them? Car drivers, or I think drivers should be fined if they drive in a bike lane. Okay, so that is another way to create a solution in your speech. Okay, using I think and should. And to let you guys know, on page 75 in the orange box, page 75 in the orange box, there are a lot of other ways they give you there to share solutions or recommendations. Okay, like I think it would be better if the city added more bike lanes, or I'd like to see buses have bike racks on them. So you can use some of those also for solutions. Okay, so on this screen we're looking at talking about problems and talking about solutions. Now let's look at predicted results. Predicted results. Okay, so on page 73, this would be the third column. How do we talk about results? Okay, so what we're going to use is could, should, would, and if. So first we would give the solution, right, using could or should. So I could say, as a solution, first, the city should add more bike lanes to the streets. And then I give the result immediately after that. As a result, bikers would have more space to ride on the streets. Okay, so again, I said first, the city should add more bike lanes. As a result, bikers would have more space. Okay, we could also use if, and then and would. So if more bike lanes are added to the streets, then bikers would have more space to ride. Okay, so let's go ahead. You can get a pencil and paper, and I want you to practice using the language we just talked about on the previous slide, okay, for problem and solution. And then I want you to also share a result, a predicted result. So for this example, I'm giving you the problem, I'm giving you the solution, and then letter R there at the bottom, that's the result. So I'm giving you the information. I want you to write a sentence, or you can practice speaking, but I would like for you to use some of the language that we just talked about. So I'll give you a couple minutes to think about it. Okay, so take a look at your sentences and let me show you what I would do in this case, okay? And you can compare to what you did. So the problem is too much trash. So I would say the biggest problem in my neighborhood is that there is too much trash. So in this case, I used a superlative, okay? I said the biggest problem. That's just one example, okay? So the biggest problem in my neighborhood is that there's too much trash. To solve this problem, first of all, everyone should pick up trash once a month. To solve this problem, first of all, everyone should pick up trash once a month. As a result, nobody would throw trash on the ground anymore. Or I put floor here, but it should be ground. So again, I said, as a result, nobody would throw trash on the ground anymore. Or I could say, result, if everyone picks up trash once a month, then nobody would throw trash on the ground anymore. Okay, so by the way, if you would like to share any of your sentences that you create or ideas you have in this lesson, please feel free to email me and I'll check those for you. Okay, so I have one more practice for us to do together. And I recommend speaking because I think it's better for you, but if you need to write it down, that's okay too. So I'll give you a couple more minutes and I want you to do this problem solution result to practice again, okay? So I'll give you a few minutes. Go ahead. Okay, this one is probably harder because we don't have the words right in front of you to use. So it's kind of might be challenging for you. But think of problem, use think and should. Solution, use, or wait a second, no, I messed that up. Problem, use a superlative as one of the ways. Solution, use think and should. And result, use if and would. Or you can use as a result and would. Okay. So, for example, if I were to give a speech about this, I would say one of the problems at TCC is that students can't take in-person classes. Or I can say one of the worst problems at TCC is that students can't take in-person classes. I think the campus should allow some classes to be in person. I think TCC should allow some classes on the campus. If TCC allows some classes to return to campus, then students would learn more. Students would learn more. Okay, so so the next thing you can do for this type of practice is to look at page 74. And I asked you guys in the last class to choose a topic that you want to use for your problem solution speech. So if you have your topic and you're ready to go, I want you to fill out page 74, at least one or two problems related to the main problem, and then proposed solutions and predicted results. Okay, just like we practiced with the bike speech. So go ahead and take 5 or 10 minutes to do that, and I'm going to continue here, so you can pause the video if you need to do that and then come back to hear the rest of this lesson. Okay, so now you filled out page 74. Let's review the structure of the speech that I want you to give next week. Okay, there's 3 things you need to remember as you're preparing your speech. Make sure you clearly state the problem, and if you have a picture of the problem, that would be great. You can show a picture, but you need to clearly state the problem. Also need to give 2 or 3 solutions, and then also give 1 or 2 predicted results. Okay, those are the requirements of next week's speech. Now remember, I said you can choose any problem that you want. It does not have to be a transportation problem. Okay, just pick anything that's easy for you. One more requirement in your speech is to have visual aids. So you need to have either pictures, PowerPoint, something that we as listeners can look at while you're speaking. Okay, guys, so that is it for today. So for homework, choose a topic, brainstorm all your ideas, and then prepare for speech on Monday or Wednesday of next week. So if you would like to give your speech in the class, you can be ready on Monday or Wednesday, whichever is easier for you. If you want to give your speech in the Go React Chapter 3 speech section of the folder, then you can do that anytime next week. Okay, but I would like for you to do it before Thursday of next week. So I believe that's the 22nd of October. All right, so you've got 7 or 8 days to prepare for that. And finally, we have page 75 and 76 that I would like for you to do for homework. This is more examples of the language that you can use to give a speech. Okay, so we already talked a little bit about page 75, but on page 76, there are some more examples of words you can use in your speech. Okay, so you're going to do some listening and fill out or fill in the blanks there. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining me today in the video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see each other next week. Bye.